Hi Ati. As you have seen, I've added this section as a special section for the access constraint section, and as you see, we're gonna have the parameters value list, which that will be the list that will be to add elements to the node, and also the delete value list that will be to add values to the list of deletes. One thing here is that this list of the values to be added is then converted to an object value. Then that object is passed here to update the node. But the tricky thing here is that this update node is not a truly update, because it only overwrites or appends. It doesn't do the deletions that I need. So in this section, we need to write a method to do a selective removal of some elements from the node. As I said before, this section in the XML util class doesn't do the update. Although I see that there are some remove nodes functions here, I don't think that's what we need, but if you think if they can be adapted or changed, great. Otherwise, I think you could create a new one to do the selectively remove something from an element. Basically, I'm gonna give you a list of elements to be removed. If they exist in the current document, you remove it. If they don't exist there, don't do anything and continue. So let's say you create a method something like this. I think you may or may not need these things. I mean, it's up to you, but of course you will need the list of values to delete. So let's say this method executes successfully, and then we will have to delete all the values from the list, and then set the delete list to no. But one thing that's really tricky here, so basically this needs to happen before we call this function that we've been using to do the actual to the regular updates, which in terms it really does an append or an override. But we need to be careful that this call does not modify the start index value, and this piece of code only needs to run once, because I know that this code executes, all of this section executes twice. I don't know why that happens, but the call to this execution should not modify the normal flow of the program, so you have to be careful with that. And that's basically it. Let's create this function, and that's a crucial part of for the multi-edit. You can debug and see the result and see if the XML that you are generating has the desired values. You will have to use the access constraint section to do this. I mean, you could mock it and just create a method, and you can pass the list and modify the XML, but however you want to do it should be fine. But if you do it from the UI, you have to use the access constraint section in order to create and to test this method.